To return to the problems of existence, the genders have totally different approaches to security. Although women are very good at spotting dangers, they have great difficulty seeing those dangers in perspective. This requires a worldly, masculine outlook. Men have to think beyond the safety of the family to the security of the community. Dangers must first be assessed and evaluated. It was learning to live with dangers without being overwhelmed by them that lay at the root of the evolution of culture, civilization, and our understanding of the world. To give an example of petty feminine obsessions with safety, on one of my many cross-channel trips to the tobacconist in Calais, I was standing at the buffet on the catamaran some years ago waiting to buy a cup of coffee. The barman accidentally dropped an ice cube over the counter onto the floor. A woman standing nearby immediately shrieked that it was dangerous. She was totally ignored, and an oblivious passing foot soon kicked the cube under a bench where it melted. Men are more analytical and philosophical about danger. Boys prepare themselves for assessing situations from childhood, just as women prepare themselves for motherhood. For example, as a boy, we lived a few hundred yards from the main railway line from London to the North Kent coast, and there was a stile for a footpath to cross the railway. My brother and I used to sit on it, while King Arthurs and bull-eyed Pacifics thundered past with a dozen carriages, swiping us with their slipstream. Sometimes we put coins on the line and displayed our squashed halfpennies at school. Puberty revealed that there were two types of masculine temperament. Every class had 2 physical training, or PT sessions, each week in the assembly hall. In a nearby corridor was a small room which was used as a changing room. In order to make room for the hooks for 30 boys, a partition with hooks on it divided the room and created an inner sanctum. It was in this sanctum that the more spirited boys, including myself, always changed. One day, when we were about 14, one of the more extrovert boys leapt onto a bench, pulled down his pants, and proudly displayed his brand new hairy winky. This broke the teenage ice, so to speak, and for a number of weeks following there were countless mutual gropings and inspections of pubescent progress. Notably, though, only the boys who changed in the inner sanctum were so adventurous. Those on the other side had been taught that privates were private and remained chaste. They were not exactly mummy's boys, but they did as their mothers told them. Our worldly teachers, for whom such goings-on were an annual event like the first cuckoo, pretended not to notice and silently supervised nature-naturing with avuncular detachment. In the final analysis, there are 2 types of boys who would later grow into 2 types of men. There are those who question their mother's teaching and think for themselves, and there are those who blindly accept it. Some men had worldly wits like adventurers and explorers, while others had homely wits like their mothers. The latter were the majority, and this later had important political consequences. As women became more and more dominant in public life, the threats posed by petty dangers became more and more exaggerated, resulting in ever more restrictive and oppressive health and safety legislation.